Hey everyone, Bruce Morris from the Tabb Group here. Welcome to STA Market Structure 2024. Our pleasure to be sitting with Jen Nayar from Sterling Trading Tech. Jen, welcome to Tabb Forum.
Thank you, Bruce. Nice to be here.
So Jen, let's jump right into it. And let's talk about trends that you're seeing in the marketplace. And they can be technology trends, they could be regulatory compliance trends, or even business model trends. What do you see happening?
Sure, yeah. I think there's a few trends that we're seeing at the moment. I think the first one that I jumped to is something that we really started forming about a year ago, which was the uptick in traded options through our system. So we started to see significant, not just interest in trading options, but volume increase in trading options. What that's meant for us is just to make sure that we are continuing to tune the system, make sure that we can handle those spikes in volume. And the reason that I think that trend's going to continue through this year and into 2025 is a couple of indicators. One is just a few days ago, you probably saw IEX announce their foray into providing options. So that's an indication that the trend is going to continue. And obviously we wish Brian and Ivan lots of success with that initiative. And then I think the other thing is Asia. We announced about a month ago that we've actually started to invest in resources locally on the ground in Asia. And that's because we've seen a lot of firms, international firms, showing an interest in trading US equities and options. Primarily at the moment, the focus has been Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea. And Andrew Ackman, our head of business development, along with our product managers, they spend significant amount of time in their evenings talking to these clients about trading the US markets. Now, that's not just describing our products and how we can help solve problems for them, but it's also, there seems to be a lot of education needed for some of these firms. They want to get into the US markets, but they don't quite know all the do's and don'ts. So we've actually found that we're spending a lot of time educating these overseas institutions. We've been producing documents to help navigate the US markets and help them with things like stock locates and hard to borrow and so on. So we're starting to see that international uptick coming from some other corners of the world as well, including India, Dubai, South America. So the jury's still out in terms of where we'll go next in terms of servicing those clients, but I suspect that Andrew will be racking up his air miles through 2025.
Yeah. So let's stick with Sterling. Why don't you share with us, how is Sterling supporting the market vis-a-vis these trends?
Sure. Yeah. So, look, we're in the vendor space, in the technology space, right? It's a very commoditized and highly competitive space. We're servicing clients that are in a heavy, competitive and highly commoditized space. And so everything that we do in terms of supporting these trends, we need to think about two key things for our clients. One is, how are we helping them manage or reduce costs in their operation? And the second would be, how are we helping them advance profitability? And what we're seeing is some of these trends is that particularly some of the brokerage firms and institutions that we deal with is continuing to expand out their asset classes. So as an example, one of the things that we're doing at Sterling is adding fixed income to our risk system, and that's being purely driven by our customers. And then the most exciting thing, I think, for us is that we're adding futures across the board in terms of our trading platform, our OMS, and our risk system. Now, as I mentioned, it is very commoditized space, but we've done a bit of a recon on our competitors, and we do see that there are some gaps in some of the competitive offerings, which we fully intend to fill. If you think about futures as an example, not all futures can be shocked in the same way with a risk system. The term is a factor, perhaps more volatility up front near term, less on the back end. Things like oil, it wasn't that long ago that oil actually went negative. Nobody was really prepared for that eventuality. So some of those learnings and trends are giving us an opportunity, I think, to get it right. So more on that as we release our product roadmap for 2025. That's one way that we're responding to the trend. And then I think one other important one just to squeeze in is blue ocean. right? So those guys are the trailblazers for 24-hour trading, which we're fully supportive of. But there's others that are going to follow suit, right? So again, our response to that through our OMS is that you can queue orders. So depending on what your trading day looks like, you can queue your orders. And then we're working on launching out our trading platform and our risk to be fully 24 by probably 6.5, because we just feel that there's going to be more exchanges and others following suit. Looking at the success at Blue Ocean.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, have a great conference. Thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.